couple of days ago, we looked at Trump coin, and the breakout failed completely. The idea was to buy here on a dip and continue to be bullish as long as you traded above this trend line because we're stuck in this triangle pattern. And yeah, the price can go down, but not below it. I actually bought myself a little bit on. I didn't buy here, but I bought a bit lower here with the tight stop loss just below here because I didn't see when this happened in real time. Now, what's happened here, of course, is just that Trump decided to introduce tariffs on the EU, and that caused this whole thing to flip. But we can learn quite a few interesting things here, and we can also talk a little bit about the future. So you can see here how this setup was good in a way that the stop loss was well defined. So when the price ultimately pushed below here at these levels, the price just continued to trade lower. So we would have a limited risk versus a very nice upside of 4.87%. And the price slipped and then just continued to trade to the other side. And this is actually quite common. When you're trading these classical breakouts, or classical patterns, and you have a breakout and that fails and the price goes back into the pattern, it will many times go to the other side. Now obviously it doesn't usually happen that often like this, and this is one of the reasons why I don't actually trade these failed breakouts, although many times I wish I would. Um, so I think we nailed the stop loss there very nicely. Now what about the future then? I think given that the tariffs have now been postponed, um, the threat came as left as fast as it arrived, right? And if you look at this from a big picture perspective, it still is looking interesting. So we can apply a trend line like this, and you have a high here, and a high here. Now, if you look at Trump coin at exchanges rather than Forex and FTFT broker like Thinkmarkets, you'll see that these lines actually align better, which means that these have more significance than what we can see here. I say that because this is just a little spike and this high is not really perfect. So if you would look at a price from an exchange, for example, you see that this is actually more of a rectangle more than anything else. And the reason why we have these discrepancies is again because of sort of different liquidities at the different exchanges, and all the different exchanges really. The price is never perfect from one exchange to another. Just to wanted to mention that. So in either case, if we now treat this like a big range, this is as a minimum a double, if not a triple top. Now, this is not a perfect rectangle on its own, but something to bear in mind. And if we would do something like this, then we suddenly started to look at an ascending triangle. Now, this is a good pattern as well. It's much better than the triangle we just looked at. Okay, the triangle we just looked at has a higher risk of failure. And what this tells us is that if we would push above here, we can push much higher. Now, this is the interesting bit. Me, I personally prefer to just go with that breakout. I don't really want to be buying here. But there are some people that are looking at, say, Bitcoin, and they say, hey, Bitcoin still remains bullish. Hey, this tariff threat has been delayed until 1st of July instead of 1st of June. So, it's going to be bullish for a couple of days. That's what some people are saying. And also stock indices are also bullish. So with that in mind, some people are, being bullish about this level here. It's quite common strategy. So they would look for this kind of move, something like this, and then look for that. Obviously, the benefit here is that then they get even crazier risk reward ratio. So what's the drawdown? The drawdown of this kind of setup is that many times the price does not respect the actual line, and you can also wait quite a long time. So personally, I prefer waiting for this kind of opportunity if it would happen, and doing something like this, and then hopefully maybe narrow this down a little bit, maybe like 4% or so. So I get that, and because I know that if this triggers and it works out, it will quickly move towards my target. Whereas here, could be waiting for a while.